What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is, of course, the House of Chayton here with a new, well, not really new because, people do tier rank, but new for the channel. I've done rankings, I've done this, I've done that, and I want to do something a little bit different. Wanted to do something, a little bit, maybe even easier, and all that. And for me, it would be, tier ranking. Of course, and I thought, what series could I start with? What series could I start with? And I thought to myself, well, I know it came out a few months ago, but Resident Evil is still something a lot of people are talking about. And of course, it is one of my favorite video game series of all time. I would probably say now it has taken the spot of Silent Hill because while Silent Hill has four great games, the first four, some underrated ones along the way. The Great Silent Hill 2 remake, and I've not finished Silent Hill F, but I've liked what I've played so far. Resident Evil has just banger after banger. And so this is my list. We have the D rank, basically D from S. So S tier is, of course, the most prolific one. And the first of each one should give you an idea of which one I deem the best of each ranking. So, yeah. Enough lollygagging here. We are going to start. So, we're going to do every Resident Evil game, and it is going to be very interesting. And let me know, guys, what is your ranking? What is your tier of the Resident Evil series? So, but first off, we're going to start with the Reverse and Resistance games. I played just very little of those. I'm going to lump them in together. They're nothing memorable. So for that, they're automatically going in the D tier. So that is for the Resistance and Reverse. So yeah. Umbrella Corps. A game so bad that they didn't even slap the Resident Evil title on it. It's not good. It's not good. So that will put it to D tier. Operation Raccoon City is a game that I've tried to like. It reminds me of another game that we'll talk to. We're going to pretty much go from the bottom to the top. In case you were wondering how I was going to do this, um, I will actually, I will say the ambition of the game. That's the only thing about it. So I will put it basically in the very back of D tier. So I tried to like it. Mercenary Resident Evil the Mercenaries 3D, the I believe the only 3DS release for a Resident Evil game. Um, it's a fun portable version of Mercenaries mode, but not much else. So for that, I'm going to put it in C tier, very low C tier. It'll probably be joined with other ones soon. But we have the Dark Side Chronicles. Again, with that and the Umbrella Chronicles, while they do add some things to the story, these are just rail shooters who just do retellings of the previous Resident Evil games. So for that, they're fun on the Wii, but that's about it. I will move them here. Let me move that one. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so that's currently what I feel like. Again, they're fun little like rail shooters, but nothing else to them. All right, so I'm going to also lump in Outbreak 1 and or File 1 and 2. Now, I do enjoy these two games. They are not in my top. I wouldn't even know put them in my probably top 10, but maybe Outbreak File 1. But with this is going to be where it gets a little harder because like some of these are going to be difficult to rank. But Outbreak. I'll probably do like all the side games and then I'll do them chronologically. Again, this is my first time doing this, so bear with me. But I'm going to put Outbreak. They'll be the first games in the B tier. I'll put both of them. Resident Evil Gaiden, a very ambitious portable Resident Evil game. Um, Again, I didn't play much of it, but I do remember enjoying it. So I'm going to put that. And for what they were able to achieve with this game, I have to put it very high C tier. Now we have the other rail shooters. We have Resident Evil Dead Aim, Survivor 1 and 2. Since I put the side or the on rail shooters next to each other, I'm going to be fair and put all of them together because I just, in my personal opinion, the side shooters weren't really my cup of tea, or they're on rail shooters, excuse me. So yeah. So we are left with basically. Let me do Revelations. Revelations is great. I like the episodic aspect of it. Same with Revelations 2. I will probably because I'm not the biggest fan of Revelations 2, but I do like Revelations. I'm gonna put Revelations at a high B, and I'm gonna put Revelations 2 at a yeah. I'm good with that. I'm good with that right now. Now we have all the mainline Resident Evil games to go through. So I will basically go from chronological order. Well, I take that back. I will go through chronological order, but also include the remakes as well. So let's start with the very first one in the series, Resident Evil. Now, as most of you who know me know, I did not start with the OG Resident Evil games. Um, and I'm not the biggest fan of tank controls. Even going back to the even with Resident Evil 4 with certain aspects of it. But again, you'll hear what I have to say about Resident Evil 4 in a minute. But Resident Evil, the one who started it all, it it's again it's memorable, but a lot of things have not aged well. Graphically, of course, the what do you call it? The voice cast has not aged well. Like the voice acting in this has not aged well. A lot of it has not aged well. But I would be remiss if I didn't put it. I'm. I know it's probably gonna piss some people off, but I'm going to put it at a very high B tier. Now we have the Resident Evil remake, and of course we are going to get another Resident Evil remake probably in the next 5 years. Mark my words. But this one is the superior version of Resident Evil. This was the very first Resident Evil, like the of between Resident Evil, the OG, and the remake. The remake was the first, so there is a little bit of bias in there. So just FYI on that. I just think everything that all the issues the OG Resident Evil had, the remake perfected. Also, I had some new things like Lisa Trevor, still one of the scariest characters I've seen in the Resident Evil games. I'm debating whether or not it goes into S tier because and again I know some OG Resident Evil fans will be kind of pissed off at my ranking, especially when we get to some others down the line. But you know what? I will put it in S tier. That'll be the first S tier game right now. Resident Evil 2, the debut of Leon motherfucking Candy. Leon S. Candy. The S stands for survives everything. Super Cop and other great names. Again, I played this when I got the GameCube version of this and Resident Evil 3. And I love both of them. But as we will get to, I feel like The only thing that has it over the remake is the A and B scenarios are a lot better in Resident Evil 2 OG. But I will put Resident Evil 2, probably the first controversial pick. I will put that in the A. High A. Resident Evil 2 Remake. What can I say about this? The dismemberment, Ada and Leon's chemistry, Claire's chemistry to be also to add to that. Just overall, just an excellent game with one of the greatest, if not the greatest stalker enemy in all of Resident Evil. Outside of Nemesis, Mr. X. X gonna give it to you. And I will give Resident Evil 2 Remake the S ranking. Right now it's at the top of the list currently. Then we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now I will be completely honest with y'all. I've never been like Resident Evil 3 OG and remake has always been the weird one for me. I will be honest, I never really cared for Jill Valentine. I was a Claire. If we're talking about the heroes, I was a Claire Redfield guy. So like Nemesis is really cool, and there are certain things I like about it, but I it like didn't it start out as like a basically a Resident Evil 2.5, like basically and all that, because it started in between. I think it was like basically happening not long before Resident Evil 2 was going on timeline wise. So, but nonetheless, I'm going to put Resident Evil 3 right next to Resident Evil 2 OG in the A tier. Now we have Resident Evil 3 Remake. There are things I like about this. I like Carlos. The gameplay from Resident Evil 2 Remake is in here and is great. The dodge mechanic is also great. But outside of that, it is a poor man's Resident Evil 2 Remake. I wanted to like it. I bought it during COVID. I bought this and Doom Eternal and Mario Kart, what was it, 8 Deluxe, I think, for the Switch. But yeah, it's a game that I don't go back to that often. I've even tried to do a gameplay series on it, and it is what it is. But I will put it has good things about it, which is why I will put it not the low B, but I will put it in near the low of the B tier. And this is gonna piss some people off. Resident Evil Code Veronica. I have played this game a few times. I think it was on the GameCube, PS2 when I got I think it was a collection with Resident Evil 4, Code Veronica X, and what was the other game? Outbreak. It's always the one I never went back too much to play. I like things about it, but again, it's and I don't know, it just I look at the image right now, and I just like the Chris Redfield just looks so ridiculous. I know it's gonna piss some people off, but I know I'm gonna piss some people off. I'm gonna put this. This is the one that I feel that is gonna be most deserving of a remake. So my judgment of this game will be probably better once the remake comes out. But I'm gonna put Resident Evil Code Veronica in high C. I already know I'm gonna piss some people off with that one. Resident Evil 0. I should have started with that one, but fuck it. It is what it is. Resident Evil 0 is a decent game. It is not like again another game that I feel does warrant a remake. I do like the new mechanics in this one. There are some but again, it's Resident Evil 1 remake on a train. So I am going to put it just slightly above Resident Evil 3 remake at the B tier. Now we're getting to the mostly great stuff. This is going to be where this list is going to be hard. Now we get to Resident Evil 4. I grew up with this game. This was a game that basically introduced me to the greatness that is Leon S. Candy. It introduced me to Ada Wong. It introduced me to just a plethora of different things in regards to the world of Resident Evil. I'll be honest as well. My first introduction to Resident Evil was the movies. I was too young to play the OG games. So, Resident Evil 5 or 4 was my first Resident Evil game that I ever played. And, there's a lot of things I love about, and it's going to the S tier, like no doubt. But there were things that, has aged, poorly. Some of the controls, while I love the one-liners, they can be a little bit. It does take it over the top for the, I guess, the setting and all that. But this is overall like still a great game, So I'm gonna put it at the low S or S tier right now. Next will be Resident Evil 4 Remake. It is, to me, one of the greatest, or actually, I do believe it is the greatest video game remake of all time. I believe this is better than Resident Evil 2 Remake. I do believe this is better than Resident Evil 3. Well, most of the remakes are better than Resident Evil 3 Remake. Like, no offense, but it is. I think this is better than the Dead Space remake, and I love that Dead Space remake. It is a perfect game in my opinion. Even like separate ways, right? They took a lot of the stuff that they cut from Resident Evil 4 remake and put it into separate ways to make it feel like its own game. Luis was vastly improved in this one. And I don't care what anybody says. I did like the voice actress who played Ada Wong in this one. Would I have liked the one from Resident Evil 2 Remake? Sure, but I do prefer, or I do like this one. Ashley was fucking done a hell of a lot better. And a lot of the like QuickTime stuff was removed. It was just, like the Krauser fight was a lot better in this. Every issue I had even today with Resident Evil 4 was fixed in this remake. And that is why, right as of right now, it is the top of the list. It is S tier. Now we have Resident Evil 5. Now, this was the first Resident Evil game that I pre-ordered. I believe it was on the Xbox 360. Like with Resident Evil 4, I've played and beaten Resident Evil 5 on multitude of consoles. PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Nintendo Switch. Same thing with like Resident Evil 4. Except with Resident Evil 4, it was a lot more because it was like what? I think PS was the GameCube or PS2. I can't remember which one. And then I didn't play like the HD version on PS3, but I played like PS4 and then all that stuff. So, but I love Resident Evil 5. Does it have its over the top moments? Oh, you bet your ass! Like don't think I even forgotten about Chris punching a boulder. But I love this game. There are frustrating parts of it, sure. The AI especially back when it first got released, was abysmal. But playing it with friends is so great. I have no real complaints outside what I just said. So I will put Resident Evil 5. This may be controversial. I will put it in the A tier between Resident Evil 2 OG and Resident Evil 3 OG. Next, we have Resident Evil 6. I have tried many, like Operation Raccoon City. I have tried many times to play this game. The best thing I could say about it is I like Leon's campaign. Is it ambitious? Sure. Is there too much quick time events? Oh, you bet your ass. Does the story not connect very well in some cases? Yes. Is Chris's campaign the worst? I'd say so. There's just not a lot I can say positive about this. Um, the mercenary mode even isn't, to me, is not that good. I have heard if you play with friends, it's a lot easier to get through. But you know what? I don't want to put my friends through this. So for that, I'm going to put. But with the Leon campaign, I will put Resident Evil 6 at a high D. Now we get to the real controversial ones. We have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. A game that, took a lot of inspirations from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, from PT, and stuff like that. I enjoy this game. It is one of, if not the scariest Resident Evil games I've ever played. It has its issues, especially with the repetitiveness of the villains and stuff. But you just can't argue how impactful this game was and still is. And and this will be controversial, but I'm known for being very controversial when it comes to things. I'm going to put it in the middle right now of the S tier. Now we get to the most controversial one. Resident Evil Village. A game that is very near and dear to my heart. Some of you who know what I was going through when this game came out personally knows how impactful this game was to me and still is. I was going through a lot of personal stuff. I was going through a lot. There were times where I thought of unaliving myself around this time. And while a lot of things weren't giving me any joy or pleasure, this was the one thing that gave me the utmost pleasure, the utmost joy, brought life back into my soul. And it's a fantastic game. I know some people don't like Ethan. I've said Ethan is one of the unsung heroes of the modern Resident Evil games. People should be putting more respect on Ethan's name. Does he don't know what the fuck is going on half the time? Sure, but you know what? That's a charm of him. Lady D is great. Heisenberg is fantastic. Has one of the scariest sections in all of Resident Evil. Probably the scariest. It's a part that I always dread, but in the best way possible. And I know some people hated the Chris part. You know what? I didn't mind it. Now, as far as his character motivations in the game, that's the one thing I can agree with you on. But to me, this is a perfect game. And for that, it will go in the middle of the S tier. Or not the middle, right next to Resident Evil 4. And now we have Resident Evil Requiem, the most recent Resident Evil game in the series. Now, I will be fully transparent with y'all. I have not beaten it a second time yet. But I've gotten far enough into my second playthrough where I can safely say where I would put this. Now, I know some people have complained about, I think, Xeno, I believe the Western clone, basically, and all that good stuff. I didn't mind it. Did it have a lot of nostalgia callbacks? You bet your ass. Half a certain portion of the game was built on just nostalgia, and I was here for it. I was there with my fucking popcorn ready to eat it up. The motorcycle scene or the chase part, I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to remind me of Resident Evil 6, but it didn't. It was fantastic. Leon Kennedy in his 50s dealing with an illness was fucking kicking ass and taking names. This is the best Leon has ever been outside maybe Resident Evil 4 Remake. The gray sections were just excellent with another memorable and iconic stalker enemy in the girl. Dr. Gideon was great. You know, if I had to nitpick, there was no mercenaries, but who knows? That may change in the month of May. But overall, this is an excellent game, and you know, who knows? This tier may change in between after some of the stuff comes out later with Resident Evil Requiem, the DLC and stuff. I forgot to mention Shadows of Rose, which was excellent as well in Village. But where does it go? Where does it go? I like I want I've played Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil 8 to so many times through so many, like, at least with Resident Evil Village, I played on the Xbox One, the PS4, and PS5. So I have, I've played that multiple times. Resident Evil 4, I've played multiple times on at least once. Resident Evil 4 Remake was the reason why I bought a PS5. That and Dead Space Remake and Silent Hill 2 Remake. But where does it go? Because right now, if we're talking the top 3 in the S tier, those are games I replay the fuck out of. Resident Evil, Biohazard as well, but the top 3 are like the fucking. I know. Again, I've been all about being controversial in this tier list, and you know what? I don't mind doing it again. And it's my list, so I'm gonna put Resident Evil Requiem right smack dab at number 3. So if we go by, what is it, 30 games? 30 games on here? Let's see. Let me verify real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 games. So if you want my ranking currently of Resident Evil, number 30, Resident Evil Operation Raccoons. Actually, change that. All right. Number 30, Resident Evil or Umbrella Corps. Forgot. It's so bad I didn't want to put the Resident Evil name on there. Number 29, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Number 28, Resident Evil Resistance. Number 27, Reverse. Let's see. What is that? Let's see. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, Resident Evil 6. 25, Resident Evil 3, The Mercenaries 3D. Let's see. Number 24, Resident Evil Dead Aim. Number 23, Resident Evil Survivor 2. Number 20, what is that? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. I'm recording this late at night, FYI, in case nobody is all that. But anyway, 22, Resident Evil Survivor. 20 or 21, Resident Evil the Dark Side Chronicles. 21, Resident Evil the Umbrella Chronicles. And then we have number 19, Resident Evil Gaiden. Number 18, Resident Evil Code Veronica. 17, Revelations 2. 16, Resident Evil 3. 15, Resident Evil 0. 14, Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. 13, Resident Evil Outbreak. 12, Resident Evil Revelations. 11, Resident Evil 1. OG. Then we have, of course, the top 10. Number 10, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Number 9, Resident Evil 5. Number 8, Resident Evil 2 OG. Number 7, Resident Evil 4 OG. Number 6, Resident Evil Remake. Number 5, Resident Evil Biohazard. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Number 4, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Number 3, Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Number 2, Resident Evil Village. And number 1, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I hope you all got that. I was a little belligerent at the end, but it 30 minutes will do that to you. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all enjoyed the Resident Evil ranking and all that good stuff. I did not know I had the random stream on here on the top. This isn't a random stream, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? It's advertisement. It's advertising for random stream whenever I feel like going live. So yeah. But I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know what your top 5 Resident Evil games are. Again, I may do more of these rankings or these tiers maybe as soon as sometime as this week or something. We'll find out. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, ta-ta for now. For the house always wins.